What up, Scrapyard? I'm back with another YouTube video. I want to apologize for the minor delay. It's been a little while since I've posted a video. I've just been busy with not playing Apex because the servers are garbage. Now that I got that off my chest, let's begin with the Loba rank guide. Let's get a Scrapyard. So for this Loba rank guide, I intend on breaking it down the same way that I broke down my previous Loba tutorials. This Loba ranked guide will be broken down into 3 categories pertaining to her passive, tactical, and ultimate. You might find some overlapping similarities between this rank guide and my other general Loba guides, and that's okay. I often play Loba the same way in ranked as I do in pubs, but I have to be a little more strategic when it comes to my ranked Loba plays. I also wanted to mention that I plan on making a general ranked guide as well for players that are looking to climb through their ranks and improve their ranked gameplay. As for my last note for the introduction, I wanted to let you guys know that the tips that I'm giving you are based off of the gameplay from my Apex Predator ranked lobbies. A lot of you guys might not be at the Apex Predator ranked level. As a Loba main, you can apply these tips to any level throughout the rank system, whether it's Bronze 4, Silver 4, Gold 4, Plat 4, or Diamond 4. It doesn't matter. These tips apply to every level. Now that the introduction is out of the way, let us begin with how to use Loba's passive in ranked. Loba's passive ability is a very straightforward ability where she can see gold and purple items through walls. Her passive ability is simple in nature, but I think that most players fail to realize how important it is to find legendary and epic items such as purple and gold armor off rip, giving you and your team the ultimate advantage in the early game fight. In ranked especially, you should always be looking at your surroundings and at your teammates' loot and letting them know when they are near a legendary or epic item. To reiterate, adjusting your land so that you land on purple and gold items, and even letting your teammates know when they might be near a purple or gold item, can effectively reduce your team's RNG, giving your team the best chances to win those early game gunfights. Just because us Loba mains love loot does not mean we should not be sharing our loot. Sharing is caring, boys and girls. Now moving on to Loba's tactical. I have dissected Loba's bracelet in videos prior, so if you have not seen those previous videos, please go and check them out, as I will bring in up certain key concepts that were mentioned beforehand. For Loba's bracelet in ranked, you only really get to use 2 bracelets per fight. The first bracelet will be used pushing the fight, usually towards high ground, and I'll touch on that briefly in a moment. And the second bracelet will most likely be used either escaping the fight or escaping a third party. Now with that rule in mind, you need to be careful about how you throw your bracelets and where you throw them. I very rarely use aggressive bracelets in ranked, as they are high risk, high reward, but if my team has someone extremely weak, or if an enemy is far too isolated from his team, then you best believe I'll get aggressive with my bracelet. Other than that, there's really no situation for you to get aggressive with your bracelet, especially at high tier rank levels. So where do I throw my first bracelet then? That's a great question, Timmy. My first bracelet is almost always going to go onto high ground, whether it's a large rock, a large building, a roof, etc. I have coined the term vertical repositioning to describe exactly what this is. Repositioning vertically, aka taking high ground. This is important especially in ranked because, as we know, taking high ground often wins you the fight. The big question is, why does it win you the fight? Of course, not every time that you take high ground, you'll win the fight, but taking high ground is essentially going to, what I like to refer to as, freeze your enemy in their tracks. Most gamers' natural instinct is to take high ground, but when they see a Loba teleport onto high ground, they immediately begin to freeze, take shots at you, or they run behind the nearest cover. So while you teleport onto high ground, allow your team a few seconds to catch up with you to give you the best chances at winning that fight. Another thing that I like to talk about when it comes to her bracelet is utilizing your bracelet for short distance rotations. And what I mean by that is throwing your bracelet essentially from cover to cover. There's not a lot of Loba mains that I see do that, but you could be pinched with enemies on both sides of you, and there's an exit 5 feet away from you. Instead of running there and taking damage and possibly getting knocked, it's best if you throw that bracelet that short 5 feet to ensure that you take 0 damage and allow you to easily escape the fight. These short distance rotations are also used when I'm in the middle of caustic gas or a caustic ult, a Gibby ult, a Bangalore ult, a Fuse ult, or a Fuse tactical. You guys get the point. You don't always have to throw your bracelet the full 75 yards, and in fact, most of the time you shouldn't. These short and quick rotations with Loba's bracelet allows you to maintain maximum movement efficiency, which is something that you'll need to learn as a Loba main, especially in the higher ranks. The last tip that I can think of that I haven't already mentioned in previous videos is to use your bracelet to collapse back onto your team. In ranked, it is important to practice what is known as stacking. What I mean by stacking is stacking more than one person onto an enemy. So if you see that your teammate's in a fight, in a 1v1, in ranked, and you have nobody immediately in front of you, sometimes it's best to throw your bracelet at your teammate and teleport towards them to help them out in their fight, thus making it a 2v1 instead of a 1v1. And this is just another way to use Loba's bracelet effectively to help win your team the fight. And as you guys know, the more fights that you win in ranked, the more RP that you'll gain. And this is not to say that other characters aren't capable of this. Obviously they are. But when it comes to Loba's bracelet, there's something about it that just separates her from everybody else. The major thing about Loba's bracelet is the versatility behind it. There is no situation in any game where you will not be able to throw your bracelet. What I mean by that is with characters like Pathfinder cannot effectively grapple out of enclosed spaces, nor can he grapple in midair without latching onto something, and if there's nothing by him, then he can't grapple out. With Loba, it does not matter where you're at on the map. You could be within a building, pinched by several teams. You could be taking a zipline on a balloon to throw your bracelet onto a roof. You can take Octane's jump pad and throw your bracelet at the end of it to take you further than it normally would. The opportunities are endless. If you can understand what I'm saying and use these tips in ranked, I promise you guys will do better as a Loba main in ranked, regardless of what ranked it is. Moving on to the last and final tip, we will be discussing her ultimate. Again, much like her passive, her ultimate is very straightforward. You place it down after every fight and get the loot that you need. So why would I be talking about this? Again, such a good question, Timmy. I have found that most Loba mains take entirely way too long when it comes to looting her ult. Not only that, but there are a lot other ways that you can use her ult aside from just looting. For the first tip, you should not be spending more than 7 seconds in an ult. Some things that you should be looking for are ammo, bats, heals, and any weapon upgrades in that order. Again, as the loot expert, every time you put your ult down, you should be notifying your teammates of any potential weapon, armor, or heal upgrades. Communication is key, and when it comes to loot, there's no better person to do it than Loba. Now that I got that out of the way, I want to talk about other ways that you can use her ultimate aside from just looting. I have discussed this before, but placing her ultimate down behind doors or doorways is a great way of closing off certain rotations. If I'm reviving a teammate out in the wide open, sometimes I'll put my ultimate down in front of him to block any potential shots that might be coming our way. In the middle of a fight, I might also use my ultimate as a quick armor swap device. My favorite way to use Loba's ultimate in ranked is placing it right before I'm about to engage in a fight, so that when I'm pushing them and I throw my ultimate down, it drowns out the noise of my footsteps and it makes it hard for the enemy to focus on where I'm coming from. All in all, if you could use Loba in the fashion that I've just explained, I think it'll really help you out at gaining some RP as a Loba main. Like I said before, these are not general tips, but I do plan on making a general ranked guide in the next coming weeks. I do genuinely believe that Loba is A tier when it comes to ranked. S tier for pubs, but she suffers a little demotion when it comes to ranked. And that's because the developers refuse to buff her. They're afraid for whatever reason. And I think that if Loba received a few minor buffs pertaining to her bracelet and her ultimate, I think that she can immediately become an S tier character for ranked. But this does not mean that I think that she'll be fully viable when it comes to the comp scene. I look at comp and ranked as two separate entities, but if she could receive a few more buffs, such as a decrease in bracelet cooldown and banner retrieval from her ultimate, I think that she could be an insanely strong character for ranked, more than she already is. Please treat this as a public service announcement to all the Loba haters out there that think that she's not strong enough to be played at high ranked levels. Through this video, I'm here to show you that she certainly is. I exclusively play Loba in ranked, and if she wasn't as strong as you guys say she is, then I would not be able to hit prep with her so many times. For now, that's all I have to say about Loba's ranked guide. I'll let the clips play out in the background because this last clip is insane. I hope that you guys watch it because it's really that good. It's a crazy 1v3. But if not, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. And I wish you the best of luck to all my Loba mains out there. I'll see you guys next time.
Healing. The squad's down. Recharging my shields. No, I can't use my abilities. Recharging shields.
Good shit. Thank you.
Whole squad down. And they left gifts. Hold on, I need to heal.
That team was so bad.
Hello.